Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Cole Delbick from HuffPost. If you had an angsty phase in the early 2000s like me, then you probably listened to Ashlee Simpson's album Autobiography on repeat and watched her reality show on MTV. More than a decade later, she's back in the game with husband, actor, and fellow musician Evan Ross for their new show, Ashlee+Evan on E, about their journey making music together, raising children among their group of friends, and of course, their very famous families. Let's take a look at a trailer for Ashlee+Evan.
This season on Ashlee and Evan.
I mean, she's bad. This looks a bad idea.
Oh my God, oh my God. Go Jagger! I do not want to have my first song that we put out be that.
I could tell that she's pulling back.
You're not listening to me. You do something like that and you can never take that back.
Let me start this over.
We're just not on the same page about that.
My father passed away when I was 15 years old. Climbing in South Africa, he had fallen.
Yeah, I miss that, man.
I miss him too.
I remember saying to the doctor, what if I don't have surgery? And he said, in 6 months, you'll be dead.
I think the world is needing love right now.
Aww.
I love you. All right, guys. Now it's time for y'all to leave.
Let's give it up for Ashlee+Evan, everybody. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for having us. We're happy to be here.
I have to start off by saying congrats on your 4th wedding anniversary. I know you guys celebrated over the weekend. Did you do anything special? Or
it was the 31st.
31st?
Yeah, we were in Malibu. We were just there with our family, and we had
Hanging on the beach. It was nice.
good ocean days, boogie boarding, just hanging out.
that was like a good way to ring it in.
Yeah.
I had a lot of time, so it was nice to take like a good few days. I think it was like only 3 days, but it was
Yeah, but it was nice.
Yeah, it must be crazy right now with the show and the music.
Yeah.
So exciting.
But it's exciting, so exciting.
So I'm curious, what struck you about this moment that it felt right to open your lives up for the cameras? Because I was reading the sort of project was born out of you making like home-style documentaries while you were collaborating on your album. So tell us about sort of the genesis of Ashlee+Evan.
Well, yeah, it all kind of started because we were actually just wanting to film the process of us making the album, because we thought it was cool the fact that we, are getting to work together and do music together and do that whole thing. And in the process, it kind of just turned into something where we were like, I think it would be interesting to kind of show where all these inspirations are coming from and what it is that we're, what our love is really, I think because that's what the music.
Yeah, all the inspiration was too so much from what was happening in our lives. And I think for me, it's been such a long time since I've been out there in the world. It's been like 10 years of straight mommyhood, and for me, there was an element where getting back into music and doing this project with my husband, I wanted to kind of open the doors and let you into our lives.
You get to see Ashlee again.
Yeah.
Where she,
I'm a grown-up now.
Somewhat.
Somewhat. I'm pretty grown.
I was telling you backstage, the show is so good. I watched the first 3 episodes over the weekend, and the reality TV gods have truly blessed us because not only do we get a peek inside your beautiful family, but we get Diana, Joe, Tracy. In the first episode, I was on the floor, so excited.
Oh, that's so cool.
Are you sort of anxious, excited for people to see what your lives are like now? Because it has been a bit.
Yeah, it really has. I'm really proud of what we did together, and we had a really good time doing it. So yeah, I'm definitely anxious for people to see it. But
yeah, I think it's exciting. I mean, it's also, I'm proud of the work because it was truly authentic. You know what I mean? It really was. There was no manufactured moments. It was really
even how we wanted it to be shot, like we were a part of choosing.
Everything. Yeah, we wanted it to feel and look different than most shows you've seen on, I think, any network. It's got a very cinematic feel to it. We got some amazing DPs and directors. It was cool, man. We had a good time.
And they were all really nice, which is super important when they're in your house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because they have kind of turn on lights like this.
Yeah, these kind of lights. And sometimes they would forget to take those lights
when
out.
They leave.
I was like, okay, no.
I feel like you're sitting
I just
in a
want to watch
hospital
TV right now.
You're like, I feel like I'm in a hospital right now.
Yeah.
What was your family's reaction to it? Did you have to sort of cajole some people to get on camera? Were some people really excited to come on camera? What was their sort of reaction from the get-go?
We definitely didn't force anybody to do anything. Everybody was really supportive. And I think they trust what we were trying to do. It wasn't, everything about it is all about love, and it's not, gossipy or it's truly who we are.
And they love us, our family.
Yeah.
And for them being on there and showing up was definitely them showing us that they love us and support us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had so much fun. That was good.
Yeah, I mean, those family scenes are so wonderful, and you just feel like, yeah, you feel the love between you all.
Yeah.
When we're thinking about like the music and coming up, how long has this sort of been in gestation? How long have you been planning to sort of release and do music together?
A while. Like when we first started dating, music was something that definitely kind of drew us to each other, and we'd always sing. Actually, the first time he was in the studio making his own album, and actually, Evan's gonna tell the story much better.
No, it was funny because I was working on some music, and she came in with our friend Naz, who's on the show as well, and Stephanie, and the whole time I'm recording, I could hear her outside like screaming, like it was not screaming, singing these ideas, and I'm like the whole time I'm like trying to figure out. I'm like, do you want to come in here and sing? I was like, I think you want to come in here and sing. She's like, yeah, I want to get in there and sing, and we actually came up with a great song.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first time we actually did a song together.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, and so I feel like that was the first time that we did a song together, and we you know, our
That we
tones
actually
worked
recorded.
together. You know, I actually sing under him. I'm lower than him.
No tones.
He's got that Diana Ross high notes.
You know, from like sort of a fan's perspective, when you two first got together, I was like, wait, what? Ashlee Simpson's now going to be Diana Ross's daughter-in-law? But then watching the show, it's so clear that there's like a lot of shared similarities here. You know, you are both artists in your own right, but come from these musical families. So what has that been like to sort of strike out on your own in this way in this moment now?
I think we've always really connected to each other. I think we have a really special bond, you know, and I think we really understand each other. I think other than lovers, we're best friends. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And so I think this has always been something we wanted. We wanted to do something together, and I think this was it felt like the right time, you know?
Yeah, and back to the other thing, we'd start doing it, and then you were on Star,
yeah.
you had a movie or something. So right now we were like, okay, let's sit down, let's actually do this album, let's like do this together. So yeah.
Yeah, we had to make that.
And it's cool working together because that's, you know, sharing melody ideas and who gets what part, and but it
She
really
usually
worked
wins.
out. No.
So what sort of initially drew you guys together? Like upon the first meeting, what drew you together? What were you sort of attracted to in each other? And when was that moment when you're like, this is my person, this is the person I want to spend my life with?
Well, the first night that we met each other, we were attracted to each other, and
We like had a dance off,
Oh,
yeah,
then made out.
we made out.
dance floor makeout, I like.
Yeah.
Some dry humping.
But yeah, that happened, and then it took us like a while. We saw each other again, and you told me that it was so sexy that I was a mom.
Yeah, I was
with my
going
mom.
for it. I was
like,
going
Mom,
for
I
it."
made out with that guy, and he's really staring at me. We're at the pool, and I'm like, I don't want to take my shirt off. He's really staring at me. I don't want to put my swimsuit on.
Yeah.
In this moment, he's staring at me, and I made out with
I
him.
had to take my chances, you know?
No, it was cute. And then I think it was like the next time. So it was all these feelings that we really did, you know.
Yeah, we kept meeting.
It was building, and then the time that it clicked, and you know, it wasn't the right time, and then it was the right time,
Yeah, and then that was it.
and that was it. I
got-
feel like right then we were like all in.
Yeah, we were
Like,
like trying to
all
plan weddings
in.
and everything, yeah.
You're like, this is my wife. Our friends were like, don't say that yet. You guys just started. He's like, no, this is my wife.
When you know, you know.
Is that me, was he?
You know, of course, Ashlee, you have been doing this reality thing long before it became this like major force in TV. And you know, I watched an old episode of the Ashlee Simpson show recently, and it was my favorite back in the day, and it holds up still. It's still so good. So I'm curious, what did you learn from that experience, and how does a project like Ashlee+Evan differ from sort of what we've seen before?
I mean, for me and that experience, gosh, it was such a long time ago, but it was so fun. And I was young, and I was going through those moments of teen angst, you know, I don't know, finding myself, and it was really cool moments to be able to share with the world. And for me, I really gained like the most incredible fan base from that show that have been really so loyal throughout the years, even during my break, which has been amazing. I love you guys.
Yeah, she has the best fans, I feel
I
like.
really do, yeah. But doing this show now is definitely different. This wasn't something I was like, oh, let's do a show about our lives. It was just something that kind of organically happened for us, and
Yeah, we weren't like, oh my gosh, we need to do a reality show.
yeah.
No, it turned out to be that, and I'm glad it did, because I feel like we're doing something that I feel like other people would want to do as well, where it is a positive show, but it's got the right messages and it's got the right feeling, and it feels good, you know.
And for us, it was such a great outlet. For me, even back in the day, being able to share my music that way, that was something that I felt was so nice back in the day. And for us, this is, you know, a project about our music, and we get to share that with the world, and you kind of get to
And we're releasing a single
actually experience
each episode.
Yeah.
Every episode we release a
Yes, I
single.
can't wait.
Yeah.
I was curious, did you see the Ashlee Simpson show before, like when
Yeah.
you were growing up? What was your impression before meeting her?
I was like, I'm gonna marry her, I think. I'm just kidding.
No.
But yeah, no, I mean, I always thought she was, I mean, I've watched it again, too, before we started shooting. I watched some stuff. She was so cute.
So cute.
I mean,
Little outfits.
so goofy. I like
Like
that.
scribbling in
And
your
it's so
notebook.
funny because
Quicksilver.
I still, you know, on that show, I have the same best friends. My one best friend, she's here today. She's since I was 2 years old, and the other since 3rd grade. So they're still with me, and they're on our show now too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
I
curious.
got good best friends.
There's such a strong bond here, and you know, sometimes reality shows don't do the best things for relationships, right? We've seen that be
Yeah.
really trying on some relationships. So what are you two doing to really ensure that what happens on screen and what we see isn't really what you're like taking home with you and impacting your sort of marriage?
I don't think that was really ever a concern for us. I don't think we, you know, I find it hard to think that if a relationship's supposed to be together, that it's gonna ruin because of a show like doing anything that's a show, you know. I think it was great for us because we got to work together. I didn't have to go away and shoot star and be away for so long, and I got to be with the family. We got to be together, so.
Yeah, we get to share a little piece of our love, and you know, hopefully everyone enjoys that journey with us. But you know, for us, we got each other for sure.
Did Jessica, your sister, give you any tips about reality show coupledom?
No. No.
Any
she
chance you might see her pop up this season?
Yeah, she comes for, we have a performance, our first performance together. And I feel like my sister's never missed one of my first performances, like even on Broadway, on the West End, or, you know, back in the day, if it's like at the Roxy, she's always been to the first performances. So she's there, yeah.
Awesome, can't wait. So we have to talk about the music. As Evan said, every single week, they're going to be dropping a new single with each episode. And this Friday, the first one, I Do, comes out.
Yeah.
And it's really, really good. So tell me sort of about the story of the single and why did you want this one to be the first we all hear from you two as this musical duo?
Well, it's a song that I feel like it speaks to our relationship a lot, but it speaks to all kinds of things. It's the idea that, you know, you're trusting somebody with your heart and loving them in that kind of way. And I feel like, you know, in the show you may have seen, but it was nice what my mom even said about that. You know, it could be saying to your children, it could be saying about anything. It's a message of love. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the song is a bit of a departure, at least sonically, from what we've heard in this like pop rock style with you.
Yeah.
So is that sort of a conscious choice to redefine your sound and your music in this current era, or do you sometimes think about going back to pop rock one day?
I definitely am going to do a little bit of a pop rock soul album after this. But right now, this is, you know, something that I've wanted to do with my husband, we've wanted to do. And I've always loved soul music. And we have Earth, Wind, and Fire, Verdine White playing on 6 of our songs, which is so amazing.
Including this song as well. I
Yeah.
do, yeah. It was amazing. I mean, getting to work with Earth, Wind, and Fire, like that, it just hit their whole new band actually played with
And
us.
we didn't really walk into this record being like, it's going to be this sound, and it's going to sound like this. This was like kind of organically.
It's kind of its own
What
baby
happened.
in a sense.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of what we were inspired by. It's also, you know, a lot of different styles, I think. It was like it's a passion project, and it's got a lot of feeling. You know what I mean? It's like you said at one time we were talking about like conversations of love, you know?
Yeah. And in that conversations of love are all different.
All different
all
vibes.
different ways.
You know, you mentioned that scene when you show the song to your mom, and it's so heartwarming because you can see her light up listening to the song about your love. And it was so cute to see you a little nervous around her, which I, oh my God, of course understand. So what is that like, sort of debuting music for your mom?
I mean, it's funny because I really do. I get nervous in front of her. I know she hates that because she doesn't want that. She doesn't.
It's so cute though. You like see Evan as this like
She's
little
not
boy.
judgmental at all. She like loves the music. But yeah, I do.
He's so
I've
cute.
always been like that. And even since I was little, I used to get mad if she could hear me sing. You know.
I could just see you as a kid singing like Brian McKnight for her. Yeah.
Probably. Probably. That was probably.
Was that right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
That and probably Donald Jones.
One. The 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
You know, growing up, for you, Evan, was there any sort of future that you saw for yourself that wasn't in the entertainment industry, performing in some way, or were you sort of, as a young kid, always really set on expressing yourself musically through film or?
Yeah, I always knew that was what I was gonna do. I think from a really young age. You know, me and my brother are very different. You see him on the show as well. He's a climber and an entrepreneur, but I've always loved that, and I was always in awe of the whole thing of being creative and telling a story and playing characters and all that kind of stuff. So I've always found that really interesting. So I always kind of, I always kind of knew.
He's such a good actor. It's like creepy. I watch him reading lines for like an audition or something, and I'm like, oh God, who are you? He's really good.
No, I mean, seconded. And for you, Ashlee, I mean, we saw you really in those early days of your career, but was it something that spoke to you from childhood that you wanted to like express as part of yourself?
Definitely. I grew up being a ballerina, and I studied that, School of American Ballet, and that was, something really, so I always was like, I'm gonna go on to theater or something. I knew it was gonna be music, dancing, acting, so yeah.
You got to see her do ballet. It's crazy.
Please, whenever you want.
The legs like over here and stuff.
You know, when I think of your sort of like catalog of songs, so many iconic ones come to mind. But one that I think really captures sort of that era of your celebrity in life is Shadow, which it's still like bops to this day, I gotta say. Because it really showed you as like, drew a distinct line between how you were feeling at that time and sort of your sister's personality at that time. And it was so relatable as like the youngest child in my family. I was like, I'm living in the shadow.
Yeah, totally.
So how do you sort of look back at that song now? Because that was such a specific era, right?
Right.
And do you still like sort of see yourself as diametrically opposed to your sister, or has that?
Gosh, not at all.
Yeah.
We're both moms, and it's so amazing. But for me, I think that what's so beautiful about the songs that I've wrote and whatnot in the past, like these are emotions that we go through different places in our lives, and I was able to write about those at that time, and I think it's really cool, and it's nice to look back on. I'm like, oh, she was mad.
I mean, something that you brought up on the show was sort of this feeling of mom guilt, that, you're a dedicated mom to your children full time.
Yes.
And of course, that's taken up a lot of the past decade. And you felt sort of pulled to stay with your kids, of course, but also explore this new career path. And I know that's a thing a lot of moms can relate to. So can you talk a little bit about that tension?
Definitely, and I've talked to a lot of my mom friends about this, because going back into working, it's definitely difficult because you have to find time for everything, and it's hard to give 100% to everything, and for me on the show, you'll see I am looking for that balance, and it's been so cool for me though, because something I've always wanted to share with my kids. My son is 9, and he's never seen me perform, and until now, and for him to tell me he was proud of me, I was like,
She just saw how happy she was. She was like,
that's it. That's all I needed. I'm done. I'm happy. You know what I mean?
I'm proud of you, Mom.
To get to share something that is such a big part of me, for them to get to see that and be a part of it, it felt like the right thing to do.
Yeah, that must be.
Because I
so
want them
rewarding.
to follow their dreams, and
Yeah, do you feel like you have little musicians coming up?
whatever they want to be. But I definitely want them to follow, their heart.
Something like that.
Before we go to questions, I want to sort of talk about, you mentioned on the second episode your experience at SNL and that sort of moment. And, looking back, I feel like you were really sort of unfairly treated.
Right.
And it was, I don't know, I feel like there was like a tinge of misogyny there, because here's this young girl who faltered on a public stage, and, you were ridiculed for it, I think so unnecessarily. And so looking back with some perspective, how do you see that moment now, and do you see it as sort of like a crucial moment in your journey to get here on stage?
Yeah, I definitely think that moments in your life, they happen and they're tragic, or in anyone's life, and in different ways, and they make you stronger, and you have a choice how you're going to deal with it. Either you're going to crumble, or you're going to get yourself together and carry on and fight, and that's what I did. And I think in that moment in my life, it made me stronger, and definitely helped define me, who I am as a woman. But yeah, at that time I had 2 nodes beating against each other, and I woke up and I couldn't talk. And at that time you're like, oh, and this is wrong, and you don't even know what to say, and the whole world's like, oh, she's, So I think looking back now, when I said, oh, I don't want to go on, I wouldn't have listened to the record people saying, oh, you have to go do this. Oh, you know what I mean? I would have said, no, I can't talk. Bye.
Do you think you'll ever make a comeback to the SNL stage? I want you to go
I
back
have. The funny thing is I did. I went back on my next album, and nobody talks about it.
And it was amazing. I've watched it.
And you know how nervous I was going back and saying, nobody cares. But I did. But of course I would go back for sure. Yeah.
Okay, I can't wait for that. So we're going to turn it over to the audience questions. Hi. Want to say it loud? You want me to give you my mic? Oh, we're going to switch over here first. We're going to get you later.
Okay, I thought you were going first.
Hi.
So being that you guys are couples, do you guys ever think about doing an action movie, and what will it be?
Ooh.
I would love to do an action movie with Ashlee. She'd probably want to do all her own stunts.
I would. My kids love the trampoline, and it's so fun. God, I don't know. What would you be if you were an action movie?
Dude, I want to be a superhero.
Yeah.
I love me some Ashlee Simpson actress, Seventh Heaven, Melrose
You could do like a
Place,
Braveheart too. Who knows?
I had to ask, my son knows all the superheroes, and he actually asked me that question all the time. And he's like, which one would you be? And I'm like, I don't know. What would it be? But he's introduced me to all the good movies.
Maybe we create a superhero. That'd be great. I sat down with Stan Lee and I was talking about I wanted to create a character. It'd be so cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Okay, Hollywood, listen up. Next question.
Hi.
Hi.
First, I want to say it's really dope that you're a Virgo. My son is a Virgo, so shout out to Virgos.
Virgos are the best.
Yes, and then Scorpios is next.
Myself.
And then it's really dope that you guys work together in the entertainment industry. How do you guys balance that work and home? And what advice would you have for other people in entertainment or trying to get entertainment that want to work together as a couple?
I think we're still trying to figure it out too. I think
balance?
I think it's always trying to find the balance of it, making sure you spend enough time with your kids as well as doing family things and doing what you love. I think it's a constant thing that we work on. But we long as you're focused on, I think as long as you're spending enough time and giving love when you're there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you not bring work home or like?
It comes home sometimes.
Yeah.
But you know, again, I think I never felt without when I was younger. So I feel like as long as you're getting the good love, I think you're good. You know.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good love.
Yes, good love. And we got one more question for you. Hi.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
How's it going?
First of all, thank you so much, Ashlee, for your music. You are amazing. You're an icon. You always will be. Thank you so much.
you.
My question is basically, you guys have been in the music game for a long time. You guys are parents. You're married. How does that affect your new music comparing to your older music? Is it a completely different sound? Do we have some similarities coming back?
I mean, I think you'll hear in this album, because this was for, this is us collaborating together. There's definitely, I've always loved soul music and stuff, so getting to do that with my husband, you hear. But my tone is still my tone, and
still
there
hear
are
a rock
moments where I'm
tone in
like,
there.
I need to have like a rock out moment.
Yeah.
You'll get those on there too.
Disaster.
Yeah, for sure. Which whenever
The
we
song
do, I'm like,
Disaster,
yes, this
yeah.
feels so good. But so this is a little mix of both of us. But I definitely in the future I'm gonna do my pop rock soul album. I don't even know what it's gonna sound like, but I'm excited for it. I've actually wrote a few songs for it.
Okay, that's all the time we have, but I want to
Thank you
thank you
so
guys
much,
so much for coming. And
Thank
everyone check out the
you.
show this Sunday on E! Let's give it up for Ashlee and Evan.
Thank you so much.